Good morning. So this is my summer morning routine. It starts the exact same way every single day, regardless of the season, because I feed the dogs. First thing I do is typically in the bathroom. Then, brush your teeth, put your contacts in. Then I take the dogs out. They have to go potty, which is a word. They're already getting in trouble. 6 o'clock in the morning. What else is new? Let them inside, and then we begin our puppy routine. They get dental bones to help clean their teeth, and then when they have to sit for everything. That's like a part of a training thing. We have fully related 3 dogs. We basically have a pack of dogs, so training them with basic stuff super important. So they get their bones, then I feed them, which is a mix of wet and dry food. It's a thing that I'm experimenting with, and they seem to really love it. And then they get their vitamins for the day. Again, they have to sit for everything. And then I feed them. The babies, which are Willie and June, they get fed in their crates because all 3 of these dogs eat like in 12 seconds, and then Duke gets fed. Raised by Adelaide, so he's got different isms. Then I go to put dishes away. So I always put away the dishes that I've hand washed, and I unload the dishwasher. And then I begin to make our AG1 for the morning. Every single morning we have AG1, and I make our coffees. So I do the AG1 to help fill in sort of nutritional gaps throughout the day, so there's less pressure on us nutritionally, you know what I mean? Especially with Jeremy traveling, my days get away from me, just to kind of fill in those gaps. Super, super helpful. Today is a bit of a weird day in that Jeremy got up with me. Normally I'm 3 hours ahead of him. So I made his coffee first, which is usually the opposite. And then I started making my red raspberry tea concentrate. And then we take our vitamin D K combo with our AG1. And I finished making his coffee. He drinks a mocha, which is essentially chocolate milk and espresso. I make that every day for him, assuming he's home. And then I make a red raspberry leaf tea. Duke is Jeremy's dog. We got him as a puppy, but he some Twilight shit happened on day 1, and that is Jeremy's dog. So him leaving in the morning is like a production for Duke.
Good boy.
He's a good boy, Duke. Duke. Hey. Good boy. He's a good kid. Good boy.
You have no.
You want to help me paint, Duke?
You have no spatial, awareness at all.
No, especially with that bodacious tail. Especially with that bodacious tail. You got the best tail ever. The deluxe dingo.
I love you, big boy.
So once I have my tea boiling, I kill the heat and I just let it steep for the day. I typically want this steeping for 8 to 10 hours. It being 6:30 in the morning really helps that. And then the next step is I make the sourdough for the week. Today required refreshed sourdough starter and sourdough bread. So I make einkorn sourdough bread usually every single week, assuming we're in town and all that. I don't always make starter every week depending on what my stock looks like, but this week definitely had to do so. Our dogs are they're so food motivated. I've never in my life had dogs so food motivated. And so one of the things I do for training is, you can hear them whining in the background. One of the things I do for training is sourdough. So they have, you know, homemade einkorn, which is really easy to digestible, that kind of stuff. Sourdough bread, little pieces of it as treats for going to the potty and doing their like training stuff. Because training Willie and June are litter mates. Duke is their older brother. It is a production to train these dogs. So anyway, I get the sourdough started, which takes, it's like a process. I make the leaven, I make the starter. The leaven has to rest for like 3 hours. The starter has to rest for like 6. So you want to get that going. Jeremy today was heading for like a day trip. So he headed out way earlier than normal. And then I just kept going with the day. Luckily, at this point, it was my turn to have coffee. I do intermittent fasting for my hormone health, so I definitely keep a window. 12 to 14 hours is my usual protocol based on my current hormonal needs. So now's my time to have coffee. Coo it, Duke Duke.
Hi, baby boy. I love you. He's a good boy. Hey, buddy. I love you.
And keep it moving. I always sit down with my planner. This is my like sort of life planner. This is the Hobonichi Techo Cousin. I sit down with this every single day, multiple times a day. I have multiple planners, but this is the one that I use for my like life and like home sort of, you know. I have 2 other ones for other things, but this one is the one that I check in with constantly. So I just do that. I check in, kind of see what I've got on deck, refresh my memory for what I had planned, look back on this is the monthly layout, which kind of has all the background stuff, who's in town, whatever's going on. And then I look at my week. What do I have on deck? What are my weekly goals? How can I accomplish them? How can I make them a daily goal? I'm extremely goal-oriented. This is really important for my mental health to stay on track. And I just sort of fill in all the gaps, get my head in the game, all of that. This is my home task box. I have I technically have 2. I have them broken up first half of the year, second half of the year. But I have daily, weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, semi-annually, bi-weekly, all of that. I have all the tasks required for the household in that box.
What's on that?
Normally at this time, I do gardening or I'll read, depending on the weather. But because Jeremy had left, I was Duke's emotional support human for a while. He needed affection and reassurance, and he's just such a good boy. So I was very happy to provide that for him.
Thanks for the kisses. Thanks for the kisses, Duke. I'll hold your hand. Hi, handsome. Hi, handsome. Hi, handsome boy. You're so handsome. Oh, thank you. I love you too. I love you too. He's a good boy. Yeah, you are. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Mama, you bore me. I don't bore you. I love my little boy. My little man now. He gonna be 2. How in the heck and Bob is you gonna be 2? Where did the time go? Where did it go? I feel like you was a puppy and now you was 2. So, well, you was always a puppy, but you was like a baby puppy, you know? Yeah. Sweetest. You're the sweetest little boy. You're a good protector. I love you, buddy.
And then we go and we let, you can tell he's like ready to go. We go and we let brother and sister out, which are Willie and June. I feed them in their crates for a number of reasons, but we go let them out after they've had their food time, they have their chill time. This chaos that you see is because we're making some renovations to the house and it's just a shit show. Puppies go outside. They are required to go potty in order to have a treat. Every single time is a production and a half. But while they...
Hi, Willie.
Willie got into a fight with a deer the week before, so he's, hobbling. He's fine. He's fine. We love him, but he's real dumb. But he's learning. And I just take this opportunity to look out. It is so beautiful here in the morning. Every season is different. The sun's different. The fog's different. Everything's different. But it's just like the nicest grounding thing to do in the morning is just to be in nature, even for just a few minutes. Feel the sun, feel the heat, it's already hot here. Feel all of that, and it's just,
Go potty.
It's so nice.
Go in the flowers.
So I do that while I'm making my dogs go to the bathroom. And this is literally what I do multiple times a day.
Good boy, Willie. Good boy, go
Every
potty.
single
Good
day.
boy. Good girl, Junie. Good girl, go potty. Good girl. Good puppies, go potty. Good puppies. Hi, June. You ready, Willie? He's like, I'm gonna eat this, Mom. I'm gonna eat this. Okay, come on.
Okay, next step is I give them their sourdough for treats because they went to the bathroom.
Good girl. Good boy. Good boy. Good puppy.
Fill the water bottles, or the water bowls rather, excuse me. And then we move on. So first order at this point in the day is to get some laundry going. Today was wash our bedding day. So I strip all of our sheets and I take them to the washing machine. Now to add conflict to this, because of course everything has to be complicated, our main washing machine is broken. And I'll just explain this later. So there's like a drawer washer that we have that does like a half or a quarter load. So I've been using that. And then because of course it does, today it picked the day to give the error sign. So I had to deal with that. I empty the things out of the dryer, fold them, and I put them away.
That's not cool.
And I began my workout, which I can't even begin to tell you how happy I am when I get to work out that day. So they typically are like this while I work out. They're old enough now that they chill out while I'm working out, and then they kind of get really excited when I come down for a stretch. Willie in particular loves to give me kisses, so he gives me about 7 million kisses every time I get off the bike, which is kind of gross because I'm sweaty, but also like he's just the sweetest boy, so I just tell myself it's fine. And then Junie Junes June is her actual name, but we call her Junie Junes. She is just the most demanding, bossy, affectionate puppy, and she's so sweet, but this is all she wants. She just wants all the lovin's, and she's just the sweetest thing. I love her. I love them all so much. They're so much fun. They are a lot, but they are so much fun. We are on potty break. This is 3 or 4 at this point in the day.
Go potty. Somebody go potty.
Another treat because everybody went to the bathroom.
Random treats. Good job.
I need to deal with the washing machine again. So, because it does smaller loads and I'm washing our sheets, I had to break up our base sheets into 2 loads. So I get the first one into the dryer, I put the second one in, and of course it does the error sign again. Finally get that figured out, and now it's time to take a shower. I can't even begin to tell you. this is a big shift for me to the get ready part of the day. Okay, so here's the rundown. It's 9:44. I just got off the phone with Amex because they wiped my iPhone yesterday, which is what I film on currently, because I don't have a plug-in camera and my big camera is too big to vlog with. So when The Office is done, that will come out to play finally. So we got back from London, and ever since then, my phone's been super glitchy. Like, meaning if I leave my house, Spotify, Maps, that kind of stuff doesn't work. So it's been a problem. Took it to Apple yesterday, and it was that thing where, like, it's kind of, Jeremy said it's like going to a car dealership. Like, if I go by myself, I just get, like, the runaround. And they basically, like, did diagnostic tests and then wiped my phone. So I had to, like, do a full manual restore, which means I'm like rebuilding what my phone looks like, what's on it, all that kind of stuff. Wiped all my text messages, thankfully I've got, like, a bunch of Apple products. Like, I have text messages on my computer and that kind of stuff, but, like, my actual phone does not look and is not laid out how it normally is. And then I'm putting things back on it. So I put my Amex app on it, and they did the thing that they're supposed to do. Like, they dinged it for fraud. So I just got off the phone with them to make sure that was okay. I got a text. Oh shit, I'm out of this. I got a text from my neighbor. I need to call her back. Home Depot is currently dropping off a bunch of concrete pavers because the garden, we pulled up all the railroad ties because because when we moved in, they were, like, infested with, like, termites. So there was, like, getting termites, or I don't know, something along those lines. It's been almost 2 years since that happened. So basically now all this, like, grass has grown into the garden. So in an effort to stomp that out, those are there. Those are getting delivered today. And because I'm me, I had to have the right colors and I have a FedEx package that's coming in the next 4 hours that needs to be signed for, so I can't leave until it's here. And I need to go to Sherwin-Williams to get paint because I'm painting my office later in this week. So, yeah. I gotta call my neighbor back because there's, like, this, she's very sweet, and she tried to help me get roses from England over to America, but it's like this, it's kind of turned out to be a total clusterfuck, so I don't know what's going on. And then, yeah, okay, I'm just kind of like, this is what and we're off, right? Like, this is what it feels like. So this is a pretty normal morning routine. Like, typically I have, I do stuff, well, I technically did. I do something in the morning house related. So this morning, I started my bread. Oh, and I got to do that. That's due in like 15 minutes. I start my bread. I started my tea concentrate that takes like the whole day to steep. So I'll finish that later. You won't see it, but you get my point. And then, yeah, so there's always some sort of like a home task in that time between puppies are done and sunrise. And then I really, weather permitting, I try to go garden before it gets too hot because we're already in the 90s, going to be 100 next week. So, fun. But Jeremy left for an overnight work thing, and Duke was upset. So I was his emotional support human this morning, which is fine. He's a sweet boy. So yeah, so I still need to, and then you saw me pull on my home tasks. So what I typically do is I go through my catalog and I try to pull, I have this mental number every month of like, okay, here's how many I have to do every day, like my actual daily tasks. I have to do those every single day. And then depending how many I've got for the week, I just divide that by 7 and try to get at least that many done. Because there's always like one day that goes like completely off the rails. And then whatever the monthly is, I take that divided by however many days in the month, and then I try to get at least that many done. So you kind of saw a little bit how like I set up my day. So I try to go pretty intense in the morning for me and home. Like I try to get as much stuff done by 10 as possible. And then 10 is typically when like work stuff kicks in. So that kind of goes all over the place depending on which work we're talking about. And that's fine. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of what else I've got going on today. I gotta return some phone calls. Oh my God, the washing machine. When I tell you, it's like crazy. This is crazy. So we got right before we left for London, Jeremy did like a monster load of laundry, like the one time ever he's done laundry, and broke it essentially. And but like fully broke the barrel part of it. And so we had this repair guy come out and he's like, I've never even seen this before. It ate one of my favorite sweaters. It ate my favorite sweater. And it killed a pair of my aloe leggings. So this thing's eaten like $250 for clothes mine now. Love that for me. I need it, whatever. You get my point. Like, and then the brain is going. So we have this like drawer washer underneath the normal washer, and it does like a half load, like a quarter to a half load. Well, it's been doing all of the laundry now for over 2 weeks, right? So this poor washing machine's just like busting its ass. And problem is, like, there's just things you can't wash in that, or there's things that just take a lot of loads. And it has this like habit of sending off the door lock signal. It's done this the whole time we've had it. For the record, we've had these washers. We've had these washers and dryer, God, for 14 months, 15 this month is June. So yeah, I love that for us. So they're still new, you know what I mean? Like, and so I had this repairman come out 2 weeks ago and try to fix it. And he's like, I can't fix this. We have to like fully replace this, or you just have to get a new washer. And he's like, well, and the thing is, like, I can't even order the replacement part for this. Like, it's back ordered or it's out of stock or something. So I've been trying to chase these people down, which drives me insane. I loathe micromanaging. So I'm trying to, like, oh God, it drives me nuts. So that, you know, like, when you've got as much stuff on your to-do list as I do, and I'm sure like all of you do, when it doesn't actually get taken off your list, you're just following up. God almighty, drives me nuts. So I have to call them back again today because we need an ETA for a repair. Even if it's like never. I need it in writing so that we can go after the extended warranty and just get it replaced or reimbursed or whatever, right? So, but now the freaking drawer one has this habit of sending off this like door lock error signal. And it's just the most annoying thing ever. So I Googled, and I'm washing like our sheets, right? And we've got this like specific bed with these specific things. So the sheets are like hyper specific. It's like a whole system. Of course it is. So I'm trying to wash our sheets and it's sending me the signal, and I got it to work on the first round, but because of course I'm using my little half washer, I have 2 rounds of just the base sheets. So now it's doing it and it won't stop doing it for the second round. So the internet and LG says to like turn my breaker off in the laundry room and then turn it back on and kind of do like a hard reset of the power and then see where it goes. So my dryer's running with like the first round of sheets, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just wait until that's done. But like, and we've begun. So point of all of this is like a major theme of my life. Like I am constantly, you know, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I'm constantly doing this dance in some way, shape, or form. So something I do for my mental health and sanity retention practices is I try really hard to get a couple of wins in early. So today I got my tea steeping, like things that take time. So tea steeping, sourdough is doing its thing. If the washer was going to go fritz, I've now got the day to figure it out, right? So like get it in early so you don't have any like last minute kind of issues, 11th hour kind of drama. And then And then if I can, like today was a great day for this. If I can, I get my workout in as soon as I can. And then from there, it's like, okay, it's just like these big chunky, like time sucky activities are off my list. So then like whatever's gonna happen, I have space for it to happen. And I find that that makes my kind of perspective and the way I react to things much better. Like I don't feel like I'm climbing up as steep as a hill for as long of the day, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it's funny, I see like these morning routines and I don't see anybody that's having like my specific lifestyle. Not saying you have to, but just saying like, I see so many people posting these videos and there's just like, the one thing I always think to myself is like, God, you have a lot of control in your day. I am constantly sort of on the ropes in ways, and like reacting to things and having to pick up slack and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so we're at the point where, and we're off. So now I gotta make phone calls. I gotta get back to people. I gotta make sure that they didn't screw up whatever the hell they're dropping off. I gotta chase these, and then I gotta, when the FedEx guy comes, I hope they're supposed to be here between FedEx person, it's usually a guy, between 10 and 2. I hope to God they're here closer, between 10 and noon, because I'd really like to go pick up the paint today, and I want to get that done before like it gets later. So I just honestly, like, I'm by myself today and I love those days because then I can have like a really early dinner, I can read, I go to bed super early. I just like, I want to be home and like chilling. I am a grandma. I'm not actually one, but but yeah, so anyway, so that's the sort of rundown for where we are now. But there's also, I just wanted to state this because there's going to be a gear shift that happens the rest of the morning where it's just like a little bit more chaotic. It's a little bit more like other people are now entering the chat. So it's like, oh God, here we go, right? But I do find if it's raining and like everybody's home or whatever, something I do in the morning is I read. And I find if I read in the morning and at night, like kind of start my day and end my day with reading, I find I'm like so much better. Like I just find that I'm like much calmer. I maintain better perspective. I just do a better job. I also find I'm not as long-winded because I would like to get back to my book. But even that, I can't maintain that because if the kids come downstairs and the oldest is in like a very chatty phase right now. So she comes down and she doesn't give a shit if I'm reading. She just starts talking. And you have to do that thing in your head of like, you know, do you want to read or do you want to listen to your kid? And obviously you pick your kid. So I'm also very conscious that she's a tween and like, I don't know how much longer this phase is going to last and I'm probably going to really miss it when it's gone. So I'm trying to like be as present as I can, but it's, when you're as goal-oriented by nature, not like in a hustle culture, toxic, whatever the hell kind of way, but just as a person, I am extremely self-starting and goal-oriented. I'm very type A. I am like, I love a challenge. I can make a goal out of anything. Like I'm on it. I have like 3 planners, like I'm on it. That tends to not play well with being pulled in a million different directions and constantly be getting like dumped on. So that's just the phase of life that I'm in. I'm not necessarily advocating for it, but like it is what it is. And I can't really change much right now. Or it's one of those things that takes a really long time to affect, like, you know, real, sustainable, positive change. So these are the things that I do to where I'm not just a raging bitch the whole day. Okay, so I've spoken to my neighbor. Have another thing on my plate. I have followed up with the washer and dryer, or the washer, whatever they're called, appliance repair people service. And still technically don't have that off my list, but whatever. Just turned the sourdough starter. So that, I made the leaven. Now we're officially like starting the bowl making process. And now we're gonna go open some boxes because I'm basically just waiting for the FedEx guy to get here so I can sign for these things so then I can go buy some paint. Oh, I need to order the paint. Let me order the paint and then we can open some boxes.
Sorry, Junie Jones. Sorry, Junie Jones. Gotta be careful. This is a knife. Okay?
We have to be very careful. This is a knife. I think Daddy took the blade out. Well, how am I? Whatever. Whatever. Don't care. Okay, so I called. I ordered the paint. We're waiting for FedEx. Let me back up so I'm actually in this damn frame. I got a flat finish paint because it says it's not reflective. And when you're filming, that is what you want to hear. Please keep your fingers crossed that this box is not full of broken terracotta. So I bought why does my arm look so flabby? I bought, don't you hate when you work out and you look like worse after? I always feel like I do that. Like whenever I do like strength training, it like pushes all the flab to the outside of my body. It really sucks. So I ordered, let me give a little bit of background. And I'll do like a full office tour, setup, whatever, once that we get there. But just so we like kind of talk through this a little bit. So beautiful. This is the terracotta garden scalloped edge pot. Oh, I love I love terracotta. This is what the wall color is supposed to be. No, it ain't. Because I have babies. I have these little baby angels. I don't have like live plants in the house. I have literally one that was a gift when we bought the house from one of our kids' friends' parents, and it's at my kitchen window sink. Everything else in my house is fake because I worry about the dogs. So it's the same reason why I don't grow things that are toxic to dogs. I'm like, you'll never see like lupine or foxglove or snapdragons because I have dogs. And when it was just Adelaide, I never worried about it because she never messed with it, but they do. And so it just, maybe in a raised bed, but even then, like an errant seed, I don't catch it, whatever. I love my dogs, right? That's how I am. Point of all that, I obviously, that's no go. I really love to garden, right? That's literally why we bought a farm. Because I don't do real, I suppose I just, like, house plants are not the same thing. No, like, disrespect. It's just, they're not the same thing. So I just do a bunch of faux, and honestly, it works great. So I want to tie a garden vibe into the office because it's like a fusion of everything I do, right? Flat paint for filming, lots of garden vibes because, if you've ever bought faux florals before, they get expensive. If you've ever bought like vases or vases before, they get expensive. Oh my God, look at this. When I tell you how good this makes me feel, I friggin' love it. I love it. I love it. So okay. I have like, not at all the point of this video, but I have so many like, I need to separate stuff. I have so many ideas for like long-term plans for this property and what I want, certain spaces to look like, feel like, whatever. And the amount of terracotta that will be in that greenhouse when the time comes. I just got the pavers delivered. They're aged terracotta. They're not like really, when you see people that buy them from like France and whatever, they're from Home Depot. So like, let's not make it more than it is. My kind of vibe is like, I like a lot of like warm metals. So brass, copper, like a lived in gold. Love that. So my beds, I have 2 beds coming on Thursday. Today's Tuesday. And they are Corten steel, which weather, and they look like copper. So it's like more than just the potager garden. It's the greenhouse. It's everything. I feel like pretentious saying the word grounds, but that's what it is, right? I want there to be this sort of like, how is this here? Like, this is like 100-year-old, or it feels like it's 100 years old and it's not, right? So I'm building this with the intention of it looking aged and weathered and like lived in and taken care of and stewarded well, but still like this is supposed to look older. Aged terracotta tile, or pavers, I should say, around the potager, and then kind of go on from there. I'm excited. I love how they pack them, but good Lord. Oh, I'm telling you, when they have a sale on this stuff, yeah, you betcha I'm buying stuff. Magnolia does a really wonderful job with terracotta and with, especially for the price point. I've gotten some really beautiful like pots from like a local place, and it's, you know, it's higher end, but still terracotta. And they're gorgeous, but I can't afford to do my entire greenhouse in their terracotta. These you could, you know, you do it over time, but I mean, maybe, but you totally could. I just love the feeling that it evokes, and I want it to feel just very like another world, another place. I want it to feel like an escape. I want it to put you in a good mood, and that's what my office will reflect. Like I want my office to be an indoor version of what the outside looks like. That's like my goal. Yeah. Like there's definitely elements that can't necessarily translate outside, like art, but for the most part, like all of the, like the materials aside from the desk. Yeah. Oh yes, they made it. So I'm going to make some changes in our living room once I'm in the office, because that's where I've been working for 2 years. And I got these bookends that are terracotta for like my gardening books, and they'll all move into my office. A bunch of the books will move into my office. But I just thought, oh my God, how beautiful they are, right? Like what an awesome element to include. And these I think are just all the faux florals. Yep. See? Oh, pretty. So all of these will eventually get put into all of that. And then behind me is I got an uplift desk. Jeremy moved out of the office that I'm moving into, and he moved up to what we call the tunnel, which is like the room above the garage, because he needs a door. And like he gets on these calls and like the doorbell rings and the dogs go nuts, and it's so stressful. If anybody's here doing anything and he's on calls, like you're so like, and his voice is so loud that like you just are on eggshells the whole time. And so like he just needed some privacy, and the tunnel, he's in the back of the tunnel. So he's got some distance, he's got a door, he's upstairs, like it's better. And then it's also like his chaos is not the first thing you see when you walk into the house. Whereas like my office, like, when I'm done with the space, it's going to be like really well like designed and decorated. So it'll be fine to look at when you walk in the house. It's not like, what the hell?
This is what it takes to make your bread, Junie Jones. And you is not the boss of me.
Okay, so it is 11:32. I have 8 minutes left to change my sourdough, or like turn it. So I'm gonna check my planner really quickly. I got a workout in, thank God. Today's the 6th, it's pathetic. All right. God, that's sad. Okay. My workouts this month are like so bad. I've done that, I've done that. We could say that. Okay, so let me check my tasks now. So I'm not like to each their own, right? But it is one of those things where this is extremely helpful when you get at least for me, this is very, very helpful when you get as distracted and pulled a million different directions, things get put on your list as I do, just to kind of come back to something that doesn't have to stay in your brain, right? Like this has been very, very helpful for me, just to make sure that everything gets done and I'm like going to sleep with a clear head and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, cannot speak highly enough for it. Doing really well, especially considering I technically haven't even done most of my stuff yet. 11. Okay, so I have 11 more tasks to do around the house today. I've been doing this enough that I've built in like a bit of a cadence, but like, okay, in the morning, I tend to prioritize these tasks. And at night, I tend to prioritize these tasks. And then in the middle of the day is where I can kind of throw the other things. I also find, especially on days like today, where it's just the dogs, potentially interrupting me, I try really hard to get more than I need to get done in a day done because I can. So now that they're not like technically puppies anymore, they're getting a little bit, the baby, Duke turns 2 in August. The babies are, they'll be 16. Is that right? No, they'll be 15 months old, in middle of this month on June 13th. So they're getting like, they're just getting better, you know? But because of that, what's really great about that is I can like take advantage of days like today, right? Where I can get a lot done. So that makes me very happy. But that's about what a good morning routine looks like. It's chaotic, it's busy, it's definitely like quadranted, sectioned off, like it has to be. But that's how I keep my head straight. If you want to see, I know a lot of people like, I posted like, I think one thing on Instagram and I got like a bunch of DMs. If you want to see how I do my planner, my Hobonichi, how I do my card catalog, like how I built it, what resources I used. If you want to see anything that comes to like planning or household maintenance or whatever, leave me a comment and I'm happy to, like let me know in the comments and I'm happy to film a video in the future about it. I can tell you, I mean, like I know that planners are like hyper personal and everybody's got their style, but I was a day designer person for like 10 years. And then I noticed it was just really not serving me anymore. And I got a Hobonichi and I definitely need to modify it a little bit to make it like really work, but it definitely works for me. And I have this is like my life planner. I have a garden planner and I have like this astrology planner, which helps me with like, I subscribe to that. So it helps me kind of get like, I like it because they give you one cycle syncing. So like the lunar cycles, but it tells you just this wealth of information when it comes to here's what the weather forecast looks like for the week. So whether or not you need an umbrella. That's kind of how I look at it. So yeah, so if you want to know more about that, let me know. I'm going to go flip my sourdough again. I've got 2 more turns on it before it has to rest for 3 to 5 hours. And then with any luck, while it's resting, I will have a FedEx delivery. I will get to go buy paint and then I will get to get on with my work. So that's a morning routine for you. I hope you all have a great day and I'll see you very soon. Bye.